Hello, good morning everyone. How are you today? Great. I'm great as well. Thank you so much for asking. So everyone, today is the time for English class. Are you ready? Still excited? Great. So we need to have a will to achieve something, yeah? So we have to being excited and learning something to make it true. We have to enjoy the process, right? Now everyone, do you still remember about our last material? What did we learn? A poetry? Part of poetry, but actually the basic elements of poetry such as rhyme, rhythm, stanza, and meter, okay? Today we will learn about poetry. We still learn about poetry, but we will learn specifically about the figurative languages in poetry. So our objectives today, everyone, is basically that you can understand about the types of figurative languages and how to use them, okay? And then the second objective is that you can analyze the figurative languages that we will learn today and find it in poetry that given, okay? And we will use PBL method, which is that means for problem-based learning method. That means we'll learn from realistic problem and it's student-centered. So I will be just the facilitator in here, okay? Everyone, without any further ado, are you ready for our class? Okay, let's start it. So everyone, let's start our material today. First thing first, of course, what is the definition of figurative languages? Do you know, everyone? You don't know? Okay, so basically everyone, figurative language is when the words go beyond their literal meaning. Okay? And authors use figurative language usually to communicate ideas in a fun way. So it means we define something unique to define our real meaning. So we use something else to define something, okay, the real meaning, which means we play with the words. Get it? Yeah, it's like we don't use our usual conversation like this, but more poetic and abstract sometimes. Now let's meet some common figurative languages that we usually found in a poetry. And in case as you have to know, everyone, that actually there are many figurative languages, but today we will just talk about 5 kinds of them, or the most common one that we found in poetry. Okay, so as you can see in the screen, there are 5 figurative languages that we will learn today. There is simile, there is metaphor, there is personification, hyperbole, and the last is symbolism. So what are they and how can you differentiate them? Now let's start with the first type, that is simile. Okay, so basically a simile is a type of figurative language which is used to compare one thing against another. Similes compare the likeness of the things and often feature the words like or as. For example, as you can see, as strong as an ox or as brave as a lion. So the characteristics that you have to remember is that we have to use as or like to compare two different things, but they have the correlation to something that we compared for. For example, like brave and lion, strong and ox. Okay, and then another example is that your eyes as bright as the sun, which is in here we use as to compare eyes with the sun. Get it? Okay, now let's talk about metaphor. So it's actually metaphor. Do you know? Okay, a metaphor basically is a phrase describing something it is not in reality. It is used to compare two things symbolically. So a metaphor literally describes something as something it is not. For example, it's like love is a battlefield. So everyone, if instantly we use to compare two different things using as or like in metaphor, we directly compare it in one sentence. So we don't have to use like or as to compare. For example, just like love is a battlefield or love is war. For example, life is an illusion, etc. Okay, now let's talk about the next one, personification. So personification basically is a type of figurative language, and it is used to give an inanimate object or item a sense of being alive. And the speaker would talk to the object as if it could understand and was intelligent. For example, why are you so heavy, suitcase? Why are you so heavy, suitcase? In here we give suitcase thing, something as if the suitcase can understand what we say to them. Okay, as if we can talk with the suitcase. And have human characteristic, which is heavy, like human body. And then the other example is my eyes are smiling when I see you. That means we give the eyes an action that human can do, like smiling, which in the reality, the eyes just being an eyes. Okay, do you get it? Great. Okay, great everyone. Now let's look at the example of the poetry in the screen. Okay, so as you can see, have you read? Yeah, okay, so that is the poetry by Dr. M. Coleman Harris. And then can you analyze the figurative languages that you have learned in that poetry? Please type it to answer. What are the figurative languages that you found? Okay, thank you everyone. Some of you actually answered it correctly. So let's find out whether your answer is correct or not. Okay, as you can see in the screen, there are some figurative languages in that poetry. The first is metaphor in the sentence life is like a journey taken on a train. This metaphor compares life to a train journey, suggesting that life is a process or experience that we go through, just like a journey on train. So it's kind of metaphoric, symbolic sense, okay? And then also there is symbolism in the sentence with a pair of travelers at each window pane. That means that the travelers in that poetry symbolize the people we encounter in life, and each window pane represents a different aspect or stage in life with different people beside us at various points. So it means that in life we meet many people, right? And people come and go, just like the travelers and train. And then there is personification also in the sentence, but if fate should mark me. It can be mean it gives the human action that abstract thing can do, like fate should mark me. And the last, there is hyperbole sentence. It's so short, alright. It's so short, alright. That means this line can be categorized as hyperbole or an exaggeration, because it's stressing that life feels very bright, so it may not literally be short. Yeah, so that it's so short, alright. But that's not that short, don't you think? Okay, everyone, after you learn and analyze together about the figurative languages in poetry, do you understand about my explanation? Yes? Great, so now let's start the assignment time. First of all, I want you to make 5 groups that contains at least 4 or 5 students by now. Okay? Okay, now please make a group that contains 5 or 4 students and 1 leader per group. And then I'll be labeling you as group 1 to 5. And I give you time 5 minutes to decide and discuss with your members. We'll back to this room after that, okay? starting from now. Now after you are in a group, everyone, I will explain about our assignment today. Okay, first of all, we will analyze a poetry today. What do you analyze? Okay, of course, the figurative languages that we have learned today. Okay, so you can scan the barcode and the screen. Yes, you have to work in a group to analyze the figurative languages in a poetry and explain the meaning that related to the poetry itself. As an example, I gave to you before. Yeah, like that. Okay, and you can see the poetry based on the Padlet QR code. You usually, yeah, you can see it in the screen. You scan it and you can see the poetry based on your group number, and I will give you all 20 minutes to finish it. Is that enough? Okay, great, if it's enough. Okay, everyone, you can discuss it through WhatsApp or another ways. It's up to you actually. And hello, just in case of there is any difficulties or you have some questions related to the test, don't be afraid to come back in this room and ask to me, okay? Okay, good luck, students. Okay, thank you Group 1 for the explanation of the result. Now let's analyze together the result by Group 1. Okay, they find the first thing is metaphor. In the sentence, people are rivers, ever-changing, ever-flowing. The meaning in the sentence, this is a metaphor and comparing people to rivers to convey their constant change and fluidity. Okay, so this is indeed metaphor, yeah? Because why? Why? Because it compares people and rivers directly, not using as or like, okay? Correct. And then second one, they find personification in the sentence, your home does have a heartbeat. This is personification because it gives the home the human characteristic of having a heartbeat. Okay. Great, next. They find hyperbole in the sentence, people will disappear with everything you put inside them. This isn't an exaggeration, it suggests that people cannot carry all the emotional weight we place on them without losing themselves. What do you think, guys? Is that correct? Is that correct? Yeah, it's correct, yeah? Because the language used is hyperbole, just for define that people cannot be your place to rely on. It's kind of exaggeration. Okay, that's actually very good, Group 1. Yeah. But I just want to add some correction because actually I find out there is some symbolism in there. Do you know which one is symbolism? So the example is the title itself. People aren't home. That home symbolizes something to comfort us, just like home, yeah? So this is the poetry. This poetry wants us to understand that we don't have to always depend to people because like they aren't home. They're like a river that, you know, change. And then the first sentence, child. Okay, child. Child in here also can be symbolized something, you know, because even the authors say child, it doesn't mean the real child, right? Like, do you really talk poetry in child? Okay, so the author uses the word child perhaps to represent emotional immaturity. Yeah, emotional immaturity or a lack of understanding in human relationships. So the word child here does not refer to a literal young child, but rather to an aspect of oneself that is still emotionally undeveloped or unstable. Someone who might seek security and comfort from others instead of finding it within themselves. Yeah. I think it's enough. And great job, group 1. For the other group, because our time has passed, we have to continue this in the next meeting. Alright, before we close our meeting, what are we learning today? Everyone? Figurative languages, the definition of figurative languages, the type of figurative languages. Okay, what are the type of figurative languages that we learn? Simile, metaphor, personification, hyperbole, and symbolism. Great. And then what do we do for our activities today? Analyze figurative languages and poetry. Great, everyone. Okay, do you have any difficulties in finding the figurative languages in a poetry? No? Great. Okay, don't forget to learn more about figurative languages. So we will meet to our next meeting, and we will still talk about figurative languages and continue the presentation. And don't forget to practice to make it better. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. That's all from me. Hope you have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.